Welcome to Matchmaker. I'm Eliza Ben Shalom, your host and your guide to finding a love that lasts. You might know me from Jewish Matchmaking on Netflix. However, I am so passionate about this topic that you don't just get a TV show, you get a book and a podcast as well. Here's the thing, not everyone is a matchmaker, but everyone can make a match. Whether it's finding love for yourself or helping two souls to connect, we're all a part of something bigger. Each week, we'll dive deep into stories, advice, and some real matchmaking magic. Let's take this journey together, and who knows, you might just find the spark that you've been looking for. Welcome back, and I am thrilled to be in my hometown of Philly. And I am here with a very special, unique human being who I have known now for so long. And you guys should thank her because I'm pretty sure if not for all of her support and help, I wouldn't be where I am today. I love you.
Lisa.
Her name is Danielle Selber, and she works with Tribe 12, which is a Jewish-based Philadelphia. I don't even know how to, because you guys have transformed so much. But when I was in it, it was a young professionals. I did the accelerator program for businesses. And since then, because you accelerated me so much and you got me out into the world, you guys now also have a Jewish singles / matchmaking track where you've always had singles events and things, but like really you took the matchmaking role and ran with it within the organization.
Yes. Well, that's what's amazing. When we met, which was over a decade ago, neither of us were matchmakers.
No.
At all, even a little. And now that's what we both do all the time.
Yeah, so I started out actually doing matchmaking in 2007. I fell in love with the coaching part of the matchmaking process and supporting people through the process and matchmaking kind of like on the side.
Yeah.
And then since the release of the show, the matchmaking side of it is the side that everybody in the world wants.
Yeah.
And I graduated from Tribe 12 in 2012.
2013.
Thank you.
Mhm.
2013, May of 2013, I released my first book,
Yep.
which is it is Get Real, Get Married.
Yes.
Get Over Your Hurdles and Under the Chuppah. I almost forgot the name of my first book, which was tremendous. And it launched my career because it helped to get me writing jobs online with Aish.com, HuffPost, and things like that.
Yes.
And the launch that Tribe 12 gave me, it was like, I'm not a little mommy at home just doing my little thing. And then it was like, no, you're a part of a professional network.
Yeah.
You're a part of young professionals. And I was like, oh, I'm a young professional. Like I'm in my 30s, but I have kids and I have a family. I said, no. There's a whole group of young professionals, people doing things in the world.
Yeah, you're called an entrepreneur, Lisa. That's what you are.
I know. But it was very hard to do that and be that at home by myself and not have a bigger vision. And I just remember going, wow, this is so great. There's something local in Philadelphia. I can be connected with them. You help to get media, news. I remember being in the paper for the first time and you set up that interview. And it all started from Tribe 12 and me having this vision of wanting to do something to help singles and not knowing how to do it. And you being the trainer for the accelerator program that I took. So first of all, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you.
Yeah. And then I paid it back because you're like, wow, we need to do this in Tribe 12. And like, oh, you're a matchmaker. Now I need to do matchmaking. And how do we build it? And what do we do? And then everything you taught me and I learned, I implemented in business and then literally built a coaching program around what to do and how to do it and helped you build that within Tribe 12.
Yeah, that was like a few years later, probably like 2017 or so, right? And I called you and I was like, all right, student needs to become the teacher now. Like help me create this wing of Tribe 12 with matchmaking and modern matchmaking for our people.
Right. I think 2015 started, 2016.
2016 maybe?
2016 maybe. No, because it's been longer. I'm saying like, and then I remember we pitched Tribe 12, like, we need a matchmaking division. And they're like, okay, that's nice, you know.
Try it.
Right. Try it part-time.
Yeah.
And now it's basically full-time plus.
It's what I do. Yeah. It just grew and grew and grew. And it grew naturally over the years. It started, I mean, this was your advice at the time. It started with, I took like a dozen people who were like my most eligible singles or friends at the time. And I said, can I like guinea pig with you? Can I try this out on you? I had my 1 hour intake conversations, which to this day is still how everybody comes in. They have a 1 hour conversation. And I said, can I match you, amongst each other? And then they told their friends who told their friends. And that's how it started. That was it.
Okay. So I want to dig in and explore matchmaking. I want people to know, obviously, what a matchmaker does, how they do it. You're doing this and operating through a nonprofit.
Right.
I'm doing this through a business. And we have a third Yenta in our
Yes.
group, Michal.
Yeah.
And she used to work for a company and was doing it professionally. And now she has her own business
Yep.
that she's running. And she turned into a we've all evolved. She turned into a super connector.
Yes, that's her
I
brand.
turned in from the coach matchmaker to the matchmaker coach.
Yep.
And you've developed and grown a part-time to a full-time matchmaking service through a nonprofit.
Yeah, what I call community matchmaking. So it includes events and like people being sort of held in a general way and not having to do all this alone.
Okay, so vision this out for us so that other people who are in other cities and are thinking, wow, I need community matchmaking, and how can our nonprofit do it? What does that look like? And for singles who want to tap into a resource that might be in their community, how does it work?
Yes. So I have trained people. I've trained people in Boston, in New York, and Australia recently, which was the most exciting thing, in Sydney.
Incredible.
Yeah, to do a similar model. Yeah, and it's not in every city, but anybody can find me and sort of ask me how to get tapped into whatever is in their city. So the way that it works in Philly is basically that everything starts with a conversation. They come to me or one of our other matchmakers. I have other matchmakers now, by the way.
You do?
Yeah,
How many?
there are 7 of us. They're all very part-time.
Stop it.
I
You
know.
have 7
I know.
matchmakers?
Yeah. And they're all like around like a certain like identity area or like something that they specialize in. So for example,
Amazing.
one of them is under 25. So she works just with our under 25-year-olds who are looking for love. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So everybody comes in. I know.
I'm so happy. I didn't know this.
I know, I have a team. So they come in, they have the 1-hour conversation with us. It's like 100 questions. I mean, you know how this, like
Yeah.
you have a similar model. And we just get to know them like so well, like deeply everything and
So
everything.
you're sitting
that's on
there
the
like
table.
me with the notebook or the
notebook,
computer, taking your
totally.
notes.
Yeah, yeah, and just asking every hard question. And then after that, they are part of our system. So we help them in like 3 different ways. We do the matches, which is literally connecting them one-on-one with somebody. We do the events, which are both public and private. So a public event that anybody can come to. A private event is like curated, invitation only, like for people who are well matched. And then the third one is just being like a resource to people in the Jewish community at large. Like we find that if people don't know about like this little community or this little scene, they're not going to find the like-minded people that they want. And so we'll tell them about something else going on. You know, if someone's really into, I don't know, film and media, we'll be like, hey, did you know that like the film festival, the Jewish Film Festival, has a young professionals like club that you can join and just tap them in. Yeah.
So it's personally setting them up. It's interconnecting them to the community, and you also provide your own events, either specially curated or actually just large group events.
Exactly. Yeah, it's multimodal. And like I always tell people, like the dirty secret is that like the matchmaking part works, but really like the events and the community part are the bread and butter. That's where most people actually meet somebody. So people who are willing to engage in that aspect of it, they're like, this will never work. It always works.
I love it. They're like, no, it'll never work for me. All you have to do is say the word never
Yeah.
and then pull that out of the sentence, work for me. It always works for you in the way that you think it never will.
Yeah, it just does. You're in the right room, you meet this person, then they meet another person. It always happens that way.
So I always say that 75% of our coaching clients get engaged through the coaching and relationship process. They
Yep.
find their person, we help them navigate, we help them choose between people. And people are like, no, I just want you to set me up. And I'm like, yes, that can work also. But like you said, the community aspect or the coaching aspect, that's really the key where so many successes come from, because people are helping themselves on their own terms, in their own way.
Yeah, and
Oh, I
being
love it.
open to it, putting it into the universe that like they're ready and open. Like we were just talking about this earlier. Yes, people are the people who things come to them. They say yes to us and all the weird things we suggest that they get involved in, and then they just find somebody.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody who wants to come to Tribe 12 to an event, something like that, they can find an event.
Yeah.
They can sign up to meet with you or one of your matchmakers.
Yeah, that's the best way in.
And then once they're in the group, I'm assuming they're on an email list, they
Yep.
get regular contact. Like, how does it, I've still been searching 3 months later. How does that work?
Yeah, so everybody gets a monthly email from me that has like what we're up to, and then also like more broadly big like opportunities. I'll put like your workshops that you do online in there, or big speed dating events that you collaborate on a lot of the time. I see you on them all the time. Just a million opportunities. I really think of matchmaking as like I'm an opportunity maker, right? Like matches are made in heaven. You always say that, but like we can make the opportunities the ways in. And so people get the email, they get matched, they get invited to events, and it's very, it's not hands-on in that there's like so many people. Like I have like 400 people at any given time who are single and active, which is a lot. But it is, there's just so much going on that there's so many ways to tap in.
That's
You have to
incredible.
say yes.
You have to say yes. You have to say yes. Okay, so I'm going to throw in, because you and I always do brainstorming sessions
Yes,
and how to like up your game.
totally.
So we're going to totally do this live and real right
Yeah,
now.
I'm ready.
But I am on this mission to help everyone make a match,
Yeah.
meaning you don't have to be a matchmaker to make a match. Everyone has the ability to match somebody else. If you're single and you've been on a date with somebody and they're not for you, they're probably for somebody that you know or
Yep.
that's in your circles. So how can we come up with this model or this mindset? It's more of a mindset than a model, and implement that in your community and maybe even the other communities that you've trained
Mm-hmm.
to, like, I'm on a mission. So besides my business, I have started the Jewish Matchmaking movement, which actually we've only spoken about a little bit, but it's like, ooh, what is it? But at the core of it is the concept that anyone can make a match, and that we are responsible for each other,
Yes.
and that we have to look out for each other, all ages, all stages, all backgrounds, all locations. And if you're interconnected with somebody single, then you should keep an eye out and assume that maybe God's going to put somebody in your circles
Yep.
that you can match them up. So how can we either come up with an event, a program, a mindset shift, something that we can, I want this to be what people live, breathe, eat, and sleep. And in the next 3 years from now, people are going to be like, no, of course, I always try to set somebody up. Not just,
Yes.
oh, I wish, or that would be nice, or, oh, good idea. It's not a good idea. This is what we should be doing.
We have to.
Right.
Well, what I think that the key there is to take away the stigma that is for some reason attached to making matches. It's like that's somebody's personal business. They're single. Like I don't want to impose, right? But we can get rid of that because even just a few generations ago, we know that like matchmaking was the predominant way that people met in the Jewish community, right? Like it wasn't this isolated thing that it is now. You're sitting in a dark room swiping on your phone.
Right.
It used to be a community thing.
Right.
So if we can bring it back to the concept of it's not imposing on someone to ask them, listen, are you single? I have an idea for you. That's actually like a mitzvah, a beautiful thing that you can give somebody.
So, and I love, you call community matchmaking is what you and your community does.
Yeah.
But I think if we take that to a deeper level, which is, no, literally it's community matchmaking.
Yeah.
You don't just have you have 7 matchmakers, but you have 400 people that could make a match.
Yes, I like
right?
this concept.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we're playing with it. This is real. This is raw. This is live. This is how Aliza brainstorms with people on how we get to new ideas and new concepts.
Are you coaching me right now?
I
This
am
is
coaching
amazing.
you. This is like live coaching, free for you.
Yes.
So, okay, so community matchmaking, first of all, I love it. And I love that I just want to figure out like something almost, there's other stigmas that we have to break. So first of all, people are also afraid of, I would never date a friend. Okay, so
Ruin the friendship.
yeah, I don't want to ruin a friendship.
Mhm.
I would never date somebody who dated my best friend.
Ridiculous. Yes.
I could riff on that one.
Uh-huh.
It really upsets me because if they're not for them, even if they dated them, they could be for you, and it's fine.
Yeah.
And like, why is everybody getting all upset that somebody else that dated your friend that you can't date now also?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, used good, recycled. Where do you think they were before this?
Right.
People, years ago when somebody was going to buy a diamond ring and they're like, oh, well, where did it come from? Or was it from somebody who was
Origins,
divorced, or was this? And I asked a Rebbitzin that I was working with, and I was like, is there any like bad omen, bad vibes to like a diamond being from somebody who's divorced? She's like, a diamond is a diamond is a diamond is a diamond. Like, like there's no bad omen. There's nothing negative energy with it. And I feel like a person is a person is a person is a person. Do you think that you're going to get it'll be the first time they've ever dated anybody? Maybe. Maybe.
Oh, but then you would think that was a red flag anyway.
Also,
Yeah.
and most likely not. Most likely they've dated other people. So
Yeah.
because you don't know the other people they've dated, it's okay. But if you know the friend, it's not okay. All of a sudden we have all these made up rules.
Yeah.
And it ruins the interconnectedness of the community that you're already a part of, and it rules people out. So many people.
It does. And sometimes I say to people sometimes is like, will it matter in 3 months, 3 years, 30 years?
Oh, I love that.
Right.
333.
Right.
Or
Because-
3330.
And this is a good example of that. Somebody that your friend dated for like 20 minutes, like it's certainly not going to matter in 30 years. If you're together and you have grandchildren and things, like you're going to forget that connection even existed, or it'll just be like a passing thought if you're still friends with that person.
Right.
But even in 3 years, like after you've like, let's say been married and like walked down the aisle with this person, who cares?
And what, you probably moved to a new city. Maybe you're not best friends with this other
Right.
person. They were
Yeah.
an acquaintance. All of a sudden, you ruled out somebody that you could have been walking down the aisle with.
Yeah.
And meantime, you're still searching the world and going, where's my person? I can't find anybody.
Yeah. And it also it's part of the problem is that people are always looking for like a new person. Who do you know who's new? Who do you know who's new
Fresh
to town?
meat.
Fresh meat. Yeah. It's like that's not how it always is. It's often you have this mystery in your history. You knew I was gonna
Mystery
say it.
in your history.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's someone you know or a friend of a friend or someone you knew once. Yeah.
Right.
That's almost always how it is. Or
Right.
someone you matched with on an app like 100 years ago and now they're back in the area. Yeah.
Right.
Happens every day.
Okay. Fine. So we're dispelling all of the myths and all
Yeah.
of the problems with this whole communal setup, communal matchmaking concept of
Yeah.
everybody having the ability to match somebody with somebody else.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? What are other reasons why people say like, oh, I can't do this. I'm embarrassed. I'm shy. I don't know how to run a match. I don't know. Maybe they won't like it. Maybe they'll think less of me if I make this match suggestion.
Right. Well, that's a big one. And even when I'm training these matchmakers, something that comes up is they're nervous to make a bad match, quote unquote, because then they become like responsible for if it doesn't work out. And I couldn't disagree more. Like I respect that someone sees it that way, but we're just opportunity makers. We put the opportunity in front of somebody. Maybe it's not like sometimes I'll make a match. I'm like, I have no idea if this is a good match, right? Like I might be just totally off base, but I'm the only one that's going to make it happen. These people are never going to meet unless I connect them.
Right.
And if it's fine, then it's fine. And if it's amazing, then it's amazing. You know, it's not really our we don't have any stake or any way to control the outcome, but we can control the opportunity.
Ooh, we can't control the outcome, but we can control the opportunity.
Yeah.
I love it. And you're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Of
I'm
course.
assuming that, like any of us, we never know if it's going to vibe. But for all of these reasons, and we have our lists of values that might align, personality that might align, background that might align, the future vision that we want that might align.
Yeah.
And for those reasons, we're making the match. Does it
Yes.
actually work? It may or it may not.
Yeah.
But we are opportunity makers.
Yeah. The matchmaking is it's magic. We can't control the magic. And I mean, I'm sure this happens to you all the time too. Do you ever see somebody that you know really well and then you see who they end up with and you're like, I would never have matched those people in a million
Yes.
years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes I'm like, well, why wouldn't I have thought of that? I was like, well, because this didn't align or that didn't
Yep.
align. And somebody changes their mind. I'm like, but you didn't tell me that.
You
They're
didn't
like,
tell me.
but I didn't know I wanted that. And you're
Yep.
like, I could have set you up with 5 people like that had you opened that opportunity.
Exactly. I had this happen recently. Well, not that recently, I guess, because, well, spoiler alert, now she's married. But I had a person who told me that her deal breakers were that he was not bald, okay, that he was tall, and that he has a job. Okay, these were the basic deal breakers, which doesn't sound that crazy. It's fine to have those deal
He's
breakers.
bald, short, and has no job.
The guy who she married is indeed bald, short, and has no job. Or had no job when they got engaged, I should say. He has a job now. You know, and so I'm like, okay, so I literally couldn't have matched you. It wouldn't have been possible because you would have been mad at me.
Right, you would have been mad.
Yeah.
So did they probably organically meet
Exactly.
at
Yep. At an
and
event.
community matchmaking? They
Good.
met at an event where you get to organically see somebody and see how it works.
Yeah, and you see them as more than like this like 2D thing on paper. You see them as a real holistic person who has other qualities that
Right.
you are not indexing for. We over-index for certain things that we think are really important or that we haven't thought through that much. Height is my big pet peeve, by the way, that people over-index for. I don't know if you feel this way. This is controversial.
It's hugely and widely controversial. I had a conversation just this past Shabbos with somebody, and she's like, well, you know, he has to be tall. I was like, define tall. She's like, 5'11" or taller, and really preferably 6 feet.
Okay.
And I was like, right. And I'm like, wait, how tall are you? She's like 4. I was like, 5'4"? No, you don't get to pick that. At 5'8", I'm willing to have a conversation with
Sure.
you. But at 5'4", she's like, well, but I want to make tall children. And I'm thinking,
Huh.
this is not a value. This is a physical trait,
Yeah.
but this isn't an inherent value
Yeah.
of who somebody is, but somehow height and stature and
Mhm.
it's not just a physical appearance. There's something that goes along with it. Now, this is coming from a woman who's just over 5 feet here.
Right.
So
Me too. I get it. Although the person that you're just mentioning, I will give them credit for at least it seems like they've thought through the why
Yes.
of the deal breaker.
Oh, they've
I
got,
think a lot
yep.
of people just haven't thought through it at all. They just think tall is attractive in a society.
Right.
Society tells me that, and I've
Right.
never thought about it more than that. And so that's what I try to make people do. I like, have you heard the concept of like ask why 5 times?
I love
So
it.
if you ask somebody why 5 times, it helps to like unearth what's underneath the
Right.
deal
Why?
breaker.
Why? Because why? Because why?
Why?
Right. So, and
Yeah.
at the root of it for her, it was like, no, because I want my children to be tall. Maybe
Right.
because other people in her family are, or because she believes things about
Right.
opportunity
We need
that
more
comes with
whys.
it.
Yeah.
Right. So, no, and she really did have a really good reason. But for me, I'm like, listen, for tall women, and we recently just met and are connected with a woman who is, I believe, 6'3".
Oh my. Wow.
I don't even know if I know any other woman in the world that's 6'3", maybe
No.
model-esque type people.
Yeah.
It makes it very difficult.
Yeah.
It makes it very difficult for matchmaking when, the 5-foot women marry the 6-foot men.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, just save them. Just save them for only if you're over 5'6" do should you look for that. And people are like, Aliza, I was like, I know. If you happen to organically meet, but fine. But like, I'm not looking for a tall man for a short
Mm-hmm.
woman, just because I'd like to help out my tall ladies. And this,
Sure.
by the way, I'm telling you that I might be wrong. I might be wrong in my advice, but I think that I think the tall men should be saved for the tall women.
That's your take.
That's my take.
That's fine. I mean, this happens with other things too, right? Like somebody who says that they want like somebody who makes a certain amount of money. I want to understand like what's behind it. Is it because they want to feel protected? Is it because they are accustomed to a certain lifestyle? Is it because they think about their children? Or is it because of social stigma and they just think it's better to have lots of money, right? Like what is actually there? And sometimes when you think through it enough, I at least find that people will like change the deal breaker, right? So
Right.
instead of saying, I want someone in this type of career, instead they say, I want someone who makes the same much as me or less or something like that. Like it changes the deal breaker enough that it adds some more breathing room to it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love this. Ask why 5 times.
5 times.
Ask why 5 times. What other matchmaker insights, secrets, all these inner workings in our matchmaker, in our matchmaker mind, like what else comes up for you as you're working with singles and trying to gently guide them through the process?
Yeah, well, this is what's so interesting about my matchmaking model. It does not involve coaching almost whatsoever. I'm not a coach. I know great coaches like yourself who I love to refer people to and always do. I do very little coaching. I'll give like the errant piece of advice here and there if people want it, and I'll help people think through things the way like, why 5 times. What I find the most interesting is that because like in a career like ours, we're so lucky, we get to talk to people on this really deep, intimate level that other people don't get to do. Like
Yeah.
how often does someone in their job
Yeah.
get to sit down for 1 hour and hear like the inner workings of someone's brain
And heart.
and heart? Yeah. And really get like raw with it, and they're vulnerable and they're telling the truth, because why wouldn't they? It only behooves them to tell the full, like, honest truth. And so I find, and I'm curious if you find this too, that I spot trends like of general society, like in dating, way earlier than like than they are spotted in society. Like I'll see people come through with different waves of things, and I'll say, okay, I think I'm noticing something here about how the world's changing. Like I was noticing last year that I was seeing that a lot of the guys I was meeting in their 20s were like more politically conservative, for example. And that was just like something I noticed. And then I see like an article in the Atlantic that says like men under 25 are now more conservative than they've ever been before. I'm like, oh, I knew that. Yeah.
Wow.
Because people are telling us stuff that like they don't tell even their friends or their family necessarily.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of politics.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So I have my own take on what politics, mean in a relationship. How do you see politics today in a relationship?
So everything is politics, right? And I noticed, this is the benefit of having been a matchmaker for a couple of elections now, is that it becomes extraordinarily important to people right around the times that like a big presidential election is happening, and then it wanes in importance in between. So the deal breaker actually falls off the table in between.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so during a presidential election / year, like the 6 months leading up and the 6 months after,
Yep.
it's really, really important.
Yep.
And then it wanes.
It starts
and
to be more
people
nuanced.
get a little bit more flexible with it.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Yeah, because it's not top of mind. It's not so like visceral at that moment in time.
Right.
And I mean, this was the biggest like political, like, I don't know, hit that I saw during matchmaking before 2016. When I would meet with people, the biggest deal breaker was smoking. That's what I would hear. Number one deal breaker, smoking. And then right after the election, the biggest deal breaker was who you voted for. it changed
Wow.
right away. For like a good 6 months, it held that way.
And then it went back to being smoking.
Kind of did, yeah.
And modern day, because this is the running trend, when people say smoking, I say, which kind?
Yeah.
And when
You
we always have to
ask.
clarify. And some
Yep.
people are like, well, cigarettes are not okay, but the other stuff maybe. And
Yeah.
is it legal in your state or your country, or is it illegal?
Yes.
And that's also something where I don't know, 10 years ago, that wasn't really a conversation.
Totally. Yeah.
Modern day, now it's nuanced. It's not just smoking, it's smoking. Which kind?
Yes. And also, is it a lifestyle that they lead, or is it something they do occasionally? That's what
Right.
people usually seem to parse it out for.
Right.
Is it a daily habit? Is it something very
Right.
important
Or
to
is it
them?
like social, like a social drinker? It's a social smoker.
Yes,
kind of a thing.
exactly. Yeah.
Fascinating.
These things change.
I know. I'm learning things that I didn't hear before. Anything else? Any other nuances, matchmaker insights, like trends that you're seeing? Anything else like that? Maybe post October 7th, are there certain trends that you're seeing?
Yes. So, so what's interesting is that the conversations with me book out about 1 to 2 months in advance. So I didn't see the October 7th trends until about December. And then I saw them hard, which was
Wow.
people coming to me who had never thought about whether dating Jewish was important to them. It's not that they had thought that it wasn't, it's just that it had not occurred to them to think through that question. And October 7th changed that. It made them just ask themselves the question.
Mhm.
And then they, Googled Jewish Matchmaker Philadelphia, basically, and found me. And it helped people. I mean, I have like my hot take on dating Jewish is basically that like I think I have no stake in what anybody decides with that, but I want them to have thought it through. I want them to have really considered whether they want to date Jewish or not. And if they don't, they shouldn't not want to date Jewish because they think that they can't, because they think that it
Right.
eliminates too many people.
Right.
That's a silly reason not to do it.
Because clearly you know about all the singles that are in
Yeah,
town, and
there
you're
are
like, there's plenty of singles. We're fine. We can hook you up.
And it only takes one.
Right.
Like, you're not looking for a giant pool of people. You're looking for exactly one person.
Some people are looking for a giant pool.
Totally fair, and they can. When you're looking for a serious relationship, if you're marriage minded,
Right.
then you're looking for just one. So why would you take this important thing to you off the list just because it eliminates a bunch of people? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
But the whole goal in my mind is to eliminate a bunch of people for many reasons. Okay, Jewish, great, that eliminates certain people, has certain values, hobbies, interests. Okay,
Yeah.
great, that eliminates other people. So in the same way that if I am physically fit and sporty, and I want somebody who's also sporty, I am eliminating all the non-sporty people.
Yes.
We just took out a chunk of people from my dating. So the same way, you're also being more inclusive and saying, great, here's all the people that are available to me that would work for me.
Yes, it's helpful actually. Eliminate people. Although, okay, for your sporty people, I want to ask them why 5 times. Because what I always want to know with that is like someone's like, I like tennis. I'm like, okay, why? Like, what's behind it, right? Like, you might like tennis because you used to play with your dad and it's very important to you and it's part of your childhood. They might like tennis because of the physical fitness aspect. That guy likes tennis because of competition and that's what he really values. All of you like tennis, but not for the same reason, so it doesn't matter. Like, that's not relevant in dating that you all like tennis. So I actually want to know more about like why we're eliminating the non-sporty people in that case.
I love that you give a specific answer. I always say, and I got this phrase from somewhere, you got to Google it, but specific is terrific, right? Yeah. So you're explaining what is the concept, the ask why 5 times, but then you're showing us how by asking why, when we get to the root of it, even though you all give the same superficial answer, like sporty or tennis, right? At the root of it, actually, they have nothing to do with one another. And that's not what we should be focusing on.
Yeah, you find a different value behind the exact same activity.
That's brilliant.
We have to.
This is like, I always look for golden nuggets. We talk about this. I didn't mention this yet, but I always look for golden nuggets of wisdom. And my goal is to walk away with one golden nugget of wisdom from every interaction or meetup or connection or whatever it is. And I feel like I have 10.
Ooh, great nuggets. Well, tell me if you're noticing this trend as well. I'm noticing that people, at least this is true for people in their 20s. So I only work with 20s and 30s, by the way. That's my demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing that people in their 20s are looking for relationships much earlier than people in their 30s used to when they were in their 20s. So that this generation that's like coming up is looking to get to have partnership and then start their life versus the idea before, I think for like millennials especially, where it was like have my whole life and then find partnership. That's the shift I'm noticing.
So since October 7th, I would say yes. I need to think about pre-October 7th. when the show came out, which was May of 2023,
Oh yeah.
people got excited. They're like, oh, dating, matchmaking, love, relationships. Like, yeah, I should try to do that now.
Yeah.
So I was seeing that / hearing that. Post October 7th, I was really seeing that and hearing that.
Yeah.
And 20s, but after college, after university, where it's like people are still focusing on the degree and everything else first and then going to look for their person.
Yeah.
And if I had to give advice, I would say do not leave university without your human. Like, just keep going back and getting another degree until you find a
Until you
human
find
being.
one. That's kind of brilliant.
Yeah. Or just hang out in those circles
Mm.
because you're going to find a lot of like-minded people who are, goal-oriented and motivated and have a good amount of energy and are in a positive space, not like in a nuanced space of their life where you're like in your job and either working from home or in an office and you see the same 20 people
Yeah.
as opposed to the same few hundred people.
Yeah, your pool shrinks pretty instantly as soon as you get your degree. It's fair.
Instantly.
Hmm. And I mean, I speak all the time to nurses, to doctors. I feel like
Yeah.
those are people who come
That's
to
a
matchmakers.
it's a whole nother thing. Somebody just messaged me. Oh, I just got a message today from somebody in Israel who said, you need to help the doctors and the nurses because right now, and especially in Israel, they are really quite overwhelmed with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
They really need support with matchmaking.
Whoa.
They do want to meet people, but they really have very limited time and they actually need a tremendous amount of support. So, yeah, so we need to.
How do we do this? Okay.
I know.
Let's brainstorm.
Let's brainstorm.
No, because it's true. These are the people who are like out there helping people all day long and they don't have time for any of
Correct. They don't
this.
have time to help themselves.
Yeah.
And they need the community give back. So
Yes.
I think we're going to start by making a community ask. If you know somebody who's a doctor or a nurse who's single, who's looking,
Yep.
please keep your eye out for them because while they're working really hard on our behalf to help our entire community and all of Israel, we need to help them to find their person.
Yes. And maybe like even take it a step further. Tell them like, I'm gonna set up a date for you on Saturday night at 6 p.m. after Shabbat. And like you're just gonna show up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Take it off their plate. Like the mental load of it also taking it off someone's plate can be really helpful if they're so busy.
I love that you're like, you're not just going to have a match idea, but you're going to set up a date. So now we're like getting into the matchmaker territory,
Yeah.
but it's only for the purpose, not that you're becoming a matchmaker, but that you're relieving the burden
Yes.
of those first interactions and communications.
Yeah.
They usually, by the way, those first text messages usually kill a relationship
Yes.
before it even gets to a first date.
Yes.
So I love that.
Yeah. Just make them show up. Be ostentatious.
Okay. I'm exploding and I'm like, who's going to write to me first and be like, Aliza, I did it.
Yeah.
And I made a match
Yes.
and they went out and they're getting engaged. I can't wait to hear in like 6 months from now
Ooh, good.
that a match came from this idea.
I bet it did. I bet it will.
We're visioning. What is it? History of the future? What
yes.
was it? Yes.
Yes. That's what you did in the entrepreneurial program that you did. That was one of the first activities. We put a big poster on the board and you wrote what it would look like 5 years from now, 4 years from now, 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 1 year from now. And by the way, the 5 years from now was you like on TV and spreading the word all over the world.
And doing and speaking to large audiences and
Mhm.
having my own website with my own login and my courses and my program.
Yes. This was you like pregnant to bursting, not even having published your first book. Yes.
And we did it.
And you did it.
Thank you, Tribe 12. And thank you, Danielle.
And you.
I have absolutely loved our time together. It flew by.
It did.
And you're going to have to come back and think about more juicy secrets.
Okay.
Because we need to know. I think that the world needs to be inspired by community matchmakers. And I think that if anybody wants to learn about community matchmaking, they could be in touch with you to bring
please.
this concept to their community.
I want it to be in every city. I don't see why it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
The Jewish matchmaking movement believes in this, and we are supporting these things happening all over the world. So if this interests anybody, we want them to come find us, talk to us, and train with us.
We'll make it happen.
We will make it happen, but only with you. You have to reach out to us for whatever you need, whether you're single, whether you want to help somebody, whether you want to do community matchmaking, you know where to find us. We would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening. Be sure to check the show notes and visit alizabenshalom.com for coaching, matchmaking, and everything else that we offer. And join the Jewish matchmaking movement. If you've learned something, please share this episode with one of your friends.